Hey guys. So, I'm not going to dwell on Leanne's been sick kind of thing. Um, Getting my strength up, trying really hard. Uh, Gosh, am I trying so hard? I was able to eat a little bit more today. I have a gig tonight. I don't know how I'm going to produce the energy for that, but, you know, when you're sick, God, I hate that word. I'm trying so hard. Let's just call it a momentary inability to be myself. But it makes you think. You have all this time to think, and I'm usually on the go. But what I was thinking about was communication. I started thinking about how, like on Facebook, social media, all the time, you see people shutting each other down for having political differences, sexual differences, racial differences, religious, all kinds of differences, right? So the moment that someone disagrees, they don't talk it out, they just insult each other for the most part. This is where the breakdown in human communication occurs. This is why wars begin. Okay, I'm going to sit up because I think this is important. Okay, I'm sitting up. Okay, I sat up. This is important because this came to me, maybe it's, that I've been feverish. My brain's like in overdrive. But the ability to communicate with one another and respond intelligently separates us from animals. And if people could just start listening to each other, I would have no problem sitting in the room with an atheist, a Buddhist, a Democrat, I don't even care. Bring the whole panel in of all kinds of crap. And let's bring in races and let's bring in, I really don't care. And why don't we talk openly about our differences and how we feel about one another? Like people who fear Muslims, for example. You don't have to call them names. We can be aware of our fears, and we can look at terrorism. But I was on a plane flying in from O'Hare. I was in a layover once, 10 hours. Last plane out, and the plane was jacked up, by the way. That was scary. And I was sitting next to a Muslim guy. And we had the best conversation about our differences and our beliefs, and we laughed and we joked. And I felt so much more enlightened, and we hugged when we got off the plane. I don't think that God or spirit or whatever you believe in created an entire universe, planets, for us to bicker like this. It's all messed up. Communication is absolutely the only way that people are going to evolve and become a more peaceful people. I'm not saying that we don't stick to our beliefs. I'm saying, why do we have to insult each other, and why can't we have open communication without becoming so offended? If you don't believe the way that I believe, that's okay. You believe the way that you believe because your parents taught you to believe that way. Your school system, your church, your grandmother, your friends. That's why you believe the way you believe. You believe the way you believe because of books you've read, things you've been taught. And that's fine. Everyone believes the way they believe because of all of those things I just mentioned. So we bring our belief systems into play. Then we interact with one another. Then someone doesn't believe the way we believe, and we take offense. That's not offensive. It's just differences of opinion, differences of upbringing. If people could open up banter, you know, honest banter, and just talk to each other. And you know, you might say, I believe that trees are God. And I'd be like, okay, well, tell me about that. Tell me more about that. Why do you believe that way? And then I might say something else. And hopefully that intellectual person would then say, well, why do you believe the way you believe? But the need to convince and argue your point and just hammer it into somebody, it doesn't work. It causes strife. It causes friction. Say we put a murderer in the room, okay? Or a rapist. And I was to say, why did you commit that crime? And maybe the person's on death row. And maybe they say they had an abusive father and they were raped. Or they saw someone murdered. Why would I not be compassionate about another human being? Anyway, I think we're too hard on each other, and I think that if human beings could start talking without insulting and becoming so easily offended, we could actually get somewhere. Call me crazy, but that's what I'm thinking. Just saying.